Have you ever been so emotionally exhausted that someone asks, "How are you doing?" and you honestly don't know what to say? Not because nothing is wrong, but because you've been carrying so much for so long that you haven't had time to check in with yourself. Hello and welcome back to the universe, friends. If you've been feeling emotionally exhausted, overwhelmed, or like you're carrying more than anyone realizes, this video is for you. Today, we're talking about journal prompts for people who are tired of holding it all together. Because sometimes the hardest part isn't solving the problem, it's understanding what's actually going on inside of you. So let's walk through this because there's a reason you feel this way. So, for many of us, life becomes a constant cycle of responsibilities, deadlines, obligations, and taking care of other people. And when that happens, we get so busy surviving that we stop listening to ourselves. That's where journaling can help. Not because it magically fixes burnout, but because it creates a quiet space where you can finally hear your own thoughts again. And before we get into these prompts, I want to keep this simple. You don't need a special notebook. You don't need to write pages and pages. You don't even need to be good at writing. You don't have to answer all five of these today. In fact, one prompt may be enough. There are no right answers, so you don't have to figure everything out today. Take what helps and leave the rest. The goal isn't to complete an exercise. The goal is to simply understand yourself a little better. So let's begin with the first prompt. Prompt number one: what am I carrying that no one sees? You see, many people who are overwhelmed aren't just carrying tasks, they're carrying invisible responsibilities, the emotional labor, the worrying, the planning, the remembering, the pressure to be dependable, the pressure to keep everything running smoothly. Sometimes we're exhausted not because we're doing too much physically, but because we're carrying too much mentally. As you write, don't worry about whether your answer sounds dramatic. Just be honest. What are you carrying that most people don't know about? What burdens have become so normal that you've stopped acknowledging how heavy they are? Give yourself permission to name them. Prompt number two: what has been bothering me more than I realize? This one can be surprising because sometimes the things weighing on us aren't the things we're consciously thinking about every day. Instead, they sit quietly in the background. We tell ourselves, "It's not a big deal. I'll get over it. There's no point dwelling on it." But feelings that go unacknowledged don't simply disappear. They often show up in other ways, as exhaustion, as irritability, as anxiety, as feeling emotionally checked out. Maybe you're disappointed about something. Maybe you're hurt. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're grieving a version of life you thought would look different. Whatever comes up, let it come up. You don't need to judge it or explain it away. Just notice what's there. Sometimes simply acknowledging what has been weighing on you is the first step toward feeling a little lighter. Prompt number three: if I didn't have to be strong today, what would I need? This may be the most important prompt in the entire video because many people watching have spent years being the reliable one, the strong one, the responsible one, the person who always figures things out. But beneath all that strength is still a human being with needs. So imagine, just for a moment, that you didn't have to hold everything together today. What would you need? Would you need rest, space, help, comfort, reassurance, permission to stop pushing so hard? Your answer may reveal something you've been neglecting for a long time. Prompt number four: what can I let go of this week? When we're overwhelmed, our first instinct is often to ask, What else do I need to do? But sometimes a better question is, what can I stop carrying? Maybe it's an unrealistic expectation. Maybe it's perfectionism. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's trying to meet standards that nobody actually asked you to meet. You don't have to solve your entire life today, but perhaps there's one thing you can release, one thing you can stop gripping so tightly. And sometimes that small act of letting go creates more relief than adding another productivity strategy ever could. Prompt number 5. What is one small thing I can do to support myself today? Notice I didn't say, what are 5 things you need to do? Or how can you completely transform your life? Because when we're already exhausted, more pressure isn't helpful. What helps is something small, something manageable, something realistic. Maybe it's drinking more water. Maybe it's taking a walk. Maybe it's going to bed a little earlier. Maybe it's asking for help. Maybe it's spending 10 quiet minutes away from screens and social media. Small actions may not seem impressive, but small actions are often what helps us reconnect with ourselves when life feels overwhelming. Now, if this idea of always being the strong one feels familiar, I recommend watching my video, Why Being the Strong One is Causing Emotional Burnout. Because sometimes what looks like strength on the outside is actually exhaustion underneath. Before you go, I'd like you to spend a moment thinking about this. Which of these prompts felt the hardest to answer? Because often the question we avoid is the question that has the most to teach us. If you've been carrying a lot lately, I hope these prompts remind you that you don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to figure out your entire future this week. Sometimes the next step isn't solving the problem. Sometimes the next step is simply listening to yourself long enough to understand what you need. And that kind of awareness is not weakness, it's wisdom. And if this space helps you feel understood, you can stay here. Until next time, keep growing gently. Take care, friends. You've got this. And I'll see you back in the universe soon.